Hi, Ozzy.
Hi, Ishaaq.
How are you? Right?
Good, thank you.
So, what exactly is your profession?
I am a filmmaker and a youth video tutor.
So, what inspired you to sort of start in filmmaking?
When I was sort of a teenager, I always had this thought in the back of my head, and it was something like, if I was someone else, I would be a filmmaker. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. It wasn't a really formed thought, but I knew that it was something I felt like I would have done if I had been someone else. And slowly the older I got, I was like, why do I feel like I have to be someone else? Maybe I could just be me and make films. Somehow, being a woman or a young girl, I thought it was something that men did. I thought it was something that people who were different to me did. I thought it was something that people who had lots and lots of experience and been studied loads did. And then slowly I just thought, well, maybe I should just make a film if that's what I want to do. And I started working in film as a runner and in the art department, and I really enjoyed that. I loved it. And then I was working doing props mostly, making props and buying props. And I sometimes worked my way up a bit and was a prop buyer, which was really fun. And I got to go to these huge prop houses that have like hundreds of everything, and you just get to choose things.
Must have been amazing just looking at everything.
Yeah, and you're like, God, all this random stuff. I really enjoyed that. And then, but at the same time, I had friends who were making films themselves, and I was helping them make their little short films. There were 3 of us who made, we were all young women, and they were making kind of part animated, what you'd probably call dance films, and I was working a lot on their films, like production managing, and first ADing and prop making, and kind of doing a bit of everything, because there weren't that many people on it. And then I learned more, and I started to think I could do this myself. And then I decided to apply for college, for film school, to the National Film School. And as part of the application, you had to make a film. And so I made my first film, just with my friends, the ones that we worked together, and I got some casts and people to act in it. And I shot that film, and I applied, and I was convinced I was going to get in because it felt so right to me that I should go to film school. It seemed like the right thing for my life. And then I didn't get in, and I was really like, oh my God, now what do I do? I was planned everything on me going to film school. But I did get a screening at a place called the Horse Hospital, which they used to screen art films and artist films, and they'd have discussions afterwards, and they were really sweet, and they were like, your work's brilliant, you don't need to go to that film school, forget them, stop worrying about that, just carry on making films. I was like, nobody had ever said anything like that to me before, and so I was like, oh, okay, right, I'll just keep making them, okay. So that's what I did. I just kept making short films with people I knew, or with actors, or applying for funding, and I got funding from the Arts Council. That was a competition or something. I managed to get in on this scheme. That was really exciting, and I carried on making my own films basically from there.
So, when exactly did you start to sort of develop a passion for filming?
I think I always had it from a very young age. I was really into cinema, and I remember going to our local cinema and seeing Snow White, the cartoon, and it was like this amazing kind of I think I was so little, like I was like, is it real? Are they real people? Is it not? And the theatre and the chairs and the whole thing about it really struck me. And I like storytelling, and I always liked the storytelling aspect of filmmaking. And I was very interested in art, and I'd always done art. But I realised slowly that I was trying to tell stories in my paintings, and that I wanted them to be able to tell more than a still image could. I wanted to tell more than a still image could.
Okay. So what advice would you give to younger people who'd want to get into the same industry?
I would say make films. Make as many films as you can, even if it is just you with a little handy cam. But do it properly, like write your script, as we've done, make a storyboard, schedule it, cast people, even if they're your friends, take it seriously, make sure you cast your friend who's the quiet friend. Well, actually, as we've seen, sometimes the quiet people can end up being a really great performer, but the person who you know is going to be the character, then cast them, and make sure you've got the right background, do it really properly. But the more films you make, the more you will learn. Every time you'll learn something, and every time it won't be quite what you were hoping for. Even when you're really successful, it'll still be something that you were not. It will be something slightly different to what you'd aimed for. That's what filmmaking is.
How did you get into your current job?
This job?
Yeah.
Or me as a filmmaker? Well, see, here's the thing. I'm a freelance, so I have a few jobs.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of my jobs, and then I have another job where I'm a production manager, which means I organise other people's film shoots. So that could be anything from booking flights to organising kit hire, like camera hire, to paying people, to kind of quite doing accounts. So I do quite a lot of things behind the scenes. So that's one of my jobs, and this job here, I applied for it and Chloe interviewed me.
Okay.
I got the job.
So do you work by yourself, or do you work part of a company or group?
Both. So I work here as me, and then I work in the other place as me, but I'm working for Holborn Community Association. In my other job I'm working for the production company, and I also do, if I was making my own film, so I still write my own films and apply for funding, and it would be just me as an artist, filmmaker, and then I would probably get somebody to help me with the production management, doing the kind of stuff I do, depending on how much, if I'd got funding to afford that, or I'd just be doing it all myself.
Okay. So what's your favourite part about the job?
I like that it's different every day. I like challenges. I like problem solving, and I like not too many problems. Like it's not like I like difficulties, but I like, if we. And I was going to say, I like the process of like us not knowing what we were going to make at all, and then we go to see the museum, and we went to see Joan Jonas, and then there's all sorts of ideas, and then how you make sense of that, and how you help to pull that together. That process is quite fascinating because you don't know what it's going to be, and to me that's what creativity is, not knowing and not trying to drive something through, but seeing what's there and helping whatever's there to happen, because it's a real fine line between directing things and letting go and seeing what's there on its own. So I like that creative side of it, and I like meeting lots of different people, and you guys are all really fascinating, and it's nice to hear and just be engaged with what young people are interested in now, and to feel like I'm still able to be aware of that.
Alright. So what was the biggest challenge you faced when starting off?
Starting off right back.
Yeah, so just initially.
Well, I suppose there's always a challenge of, like, if you've got no experience, then it's hard to get work. But if you don't get any work, you don't get any experience. And the thing with that is it's then down to somebody giving you a break, giving you a chance, because they don't know, because if you've never done it before, even to be a runner on a film, people are quite cautious about who they employ. And that often comes down to if you know somebody or somebody can recommend you. So it's like getting yourself a foot in the door, and then you have to prove yourself. And so you might have this job where, I remember doing this job, it was quite very early on in my running career, and I was really nervous, and it was like this big film crew, and you have to do everything right, people are quite strict. I was on set, and that was a big responsibility, because quite often you're in the background just making tea for people, but somebody had asked me to be on set to, I don't remember what it was now, and do something on it. And I was doing exactly what I needed to do, and then the next thing I realised, I'm looking down the lens of the camera, and a bit of my head's like, that can't be right, because if I'm looking at the camera's looking at me. And I looked up like this, and the cameraman looked up opposite me, and I was like, and what it was a camera that was on a track that went completely round, and I hadn't realised that it was going to come all the way around, so I'd done the thing I needed to do, and you know how you kind of get out of the way, and then it had come all the way around, and I was like, where do I go? And luckily for me, he was really sweet, and he kind of, because that meant that take was not good. Big crew, like say 100 people. And the director was like, yeah, that one was great. And he was like, oh, actually I need to go again. It wasn't good for me. And he was like, really? Why? And he said, no, there was a camera issue. And so he didn't tell anyone.
So you got a bit lucky with that one.
I got really lucky he let me, because I was thinking, I'm going to get really shouted at, because he shouldn't be in the wrong place. So you get people who are really sweet, and they look out for you, and they get that you're young, and you're keen, and you're trying. But you need people to be on your side in those early days and to just give you a bit of a break.
So do you have any final piece of advice for people who just want to try getting into filming? Or
Yeah, actually, I would say if you're really, it's like boldness is rewarded. So if you feel like what you'd really like, think about what is it in the back of your head. Like in the back of my head, I was like, I really want to be a filmmaker, but I don't think I could, because I'm just little old me. And really be aware of whatever that voice is in the back of your head. Like you're like, I really want to do this thing, and then be bold and maybe go up to people. When you're young, your advantage is you can say to people, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm really keen, and I work hard, and I'm going to do it really well. Can you give me a break and let me come along as a runner and shadow you, or help, or maybe be a runner. And you probably wouldn't get paid that much for it, but that experience is invaluable. And also, if that person likes you, then they'll get you work, and it's who you know. Unfortunately, in the film industry, the people like to work with people they know. So the more people you know, the more work you're likely to get. And people are really supportive. If you're up front and you work hard and you're keen, most people who have been in it for a long time are really supportive and helpful. You'll get the odd person who won't be, but don't let them dissuade you or make you feel dejected. Just keep going, and you can just ask people directly, like, do you need a runner, could I help out, and persist, and really, that's the way to get in, really. Get as much experience as you can being on set. It's really, you'll learn loads from just being there and seeing, and those fun little experiences, like I said, of doing the wrong thing. You're like, well, I won't do that again. You know.
Yeah, well, that's all. Thank you, Ozzy.
Thanks, Ishaaq. Good luck.